Whose night pleasure is it?
What?
Whose night?
Whose night? Oh,
Yeah.
Sally, that's why she showed up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's Sally's night, so thank God.
Make sure everybody gets one of these, including legal counsel, and this is from Mr. Menino Speaks on Air Show.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't too important. You can have it.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go.
Thank you. So, when is the swearing in?
Second meeting.
Oh, shoot, we got a long time there. Man, we might even get a grass cut in there.
Is there enough for me?
No, you're not. I'll be there.
I looked at the grass at the shop this morning.
Yeah, I need one too.
Bring it.
Man,
What about the audience?
grandkid doing this.
I guess whatever you have left over, as long as everybody else has it.
I know that's for sure.
Community development, I know will want it.
Okay, good evening. Since it's 6 o'clock, Anna, could you please give the invocation? If you could come up to the microphone, and your friend as well, if she wants to join you. You might need to bend that towards you a little bit for you. There you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we're gonna say a prayer. Victorious Savior, you are worthy of all our praise. Thank you for your favor on behalf of our city leaders in the recent elections. Now, Lord, as they take on their new responsibilities and challenge, we declare in the name of Jesus that no weapon of the enemy formed against them will be able to affect the original plans and purposes you have designed to prosper all the people and families of our city. Oh Lord, we place in your hand every petition made to you by our leaders. We ask that you give them wisdom, peace, and success in the strategies and policies that you will guide and govern with your justice, so that your community be blessed and prosper for all. In the precious name of Jesus, we ask. Amen.
Thank you very much. So now we will officially call this Committee of the Whole meeting to order. Madam Clerk, could you please take the roll?
Present in person, Mayor Miller.
Here.
Alderpersons Borneman. I'm sorry, that would be McClanathan in person.
Present.
Ross,
Present.
Parker,
Present.
Busker,
Present.
and Brashaw.
Present.
And now to the aldermen present via teleconference. Borneman,
Present.
Mysick,
Present.
and Barbaray.
Present.
I believe all staff is present in person. Manager Bucas.
Present.
Directors Richter, Hines, Boyer, Chief Summers,
Present.
Chief Liggett, Director Stromberg, and Huffines. Clerk Anderson is present in person, and Attorney Steve Cox present in person.
Okay, if you could please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Alderman Brashaw.
United States of America. One nation, under God, indivisible. Justice for all.
Thank you, and Alderman Brashaw, this is your last official leading the Committee of the Whole. Very appropriate, so there you go.
Thank you, Your Honor. City Council, we have on before us the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Parker and a second by Alderman Busker. Madam Clerk, will you take roll, please?
Brashaw,
Aye.
Mysick,
Aye.
Berberay,
Aye.
Borneman,
Aye.
McClanathan,
Aye.
Ross?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
Busker?
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you. Next, we have approval of the minutes from the Committee of the Whole meeting held on March 8th, 2021. Council, hopefully you've had time to review these minutes. Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Alderman Busker and a second by Alderman Ross. Madam Clerk?
Brashaw?
Aye.
Meissick?
Aye.
Berberet?
Aye.
Borneman?
Aye.
McClanathan?
Aye.
Ross?
Aye.
Parker?
Aye.
And Busker?
Aye.
That motion passes 8-0.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments this evening?
There were none.
Thank you. Moving on. We have the swearing-in ceremony of Adrian Garduno, a police officer, and I believe this will be presented tonight by Madam Mayor Miller. And also Chief Summers.
Thank you, Mayor. Adrian, congratulations and welcome to the Freeport Police Department. It's an extreme privilege for myself on behalf of the Board and Fire and Police Commission to be able to welcome you to our community. The bar that you've just passed is a very high bar. The Freeport Police Department is made of a group of elite individuals, and not very many get to join them. So the fact that you're standing here today speaks tons of your character and the accomplishment. As police and fire commissioners, one question that we always ask ourselves that separates many people from the candidates that apply is, would we trust this person with the care of our family and the people that we love? And the fact that you're standing here today says a lot about you. So it's my honor to be able to read your commission. Official Commission, City of Freeport, Board of Fire and Police Commission, Adrian Giordano. Having been duly appointed to the Office of Patrolman in and for the City of Freeport in the County of Stevenson and State of Illinois for the term from the 12th day of April 2021 until his successor shall have been duly appointed and qualified, is hereby fully authorized and empowered to assume and perform all the duties of his said office according to the law and ordinance of said city. And all persons are required to respect him in the discharge of his said duties by order of the Chairman of the Board of Fire and Police Commission. Congratulations, Adrian.
And it's always a privilege for me to be able to do the swearing in, and it's part of my responsibilities that I consider to be an honor. So I'm going to give this to you so the audience can hear your voice in the swearing in. So if you can take that, preferably in your left hand, so you can raise your right hand. If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Adrian Garduno,
I, Adrian Garduno,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Office of Patrol Officer
of the Office of the Patrol Officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Adrian. We're happy to have you be a part of the team.
Thank you.
Adrian, I have the shield that we wear on our chests, and I've put this shield on my chest for over 26 years. And when you put this shield on your chest, it comes with an awesome responsibility. It represents not only you, the department, the city, but it represents every police officer in the United States. And it comes with an awesome responsibility. And today in our policing, that we can't betray what this means. And I trust that when you put this on, you will live up to the same standards that we all do. So, congratulations.
Congratulations, your definition for 64.
If you have some pictures you'd like to take, your family with you?
If your family would like to come up.
If somebody could take a picture with her up here, that would be great.
For the public record, I want to say that Mr. Garduno was sworn in by Mayor Miller, but the presentation was by head of our Police Commission, Mark Gridley.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian Garduno. We look forward to working with you in the city of Freeport. Next on our agenda, number 8, we have an update on the 2021 Air Show. This will be presented by Mr. Mark Manino. Mr. Marnino, you have our attention, and we have a handout from you. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. I've got an update here for you, and I want to say that the excitement is building. There's a lot of people, I think everybody I talk to, whether it be just, fans or businesses, what have you, they're super excited about this, and so am I, and I hope you all are as well. On the handout, I tried to recap as much as I could remember. There's just so much going on, and then I'm going to kind of rely on some questions maybe you might have that, will kind of give me some of the information that I may not have put on the list. But the deposits paid, contracts signed. We have our official checking account set up. This is the first year, so this is kind of the most challenging year, I think, of all of the years that we're going to have, because we got to get everything set up for the first time. So the checking account is set up, insurance is all set up and ready to go when the time comes to get that in force. Our major show sponsors for this year are the Morse Group and Hammer It Construction. Every year we'll have a business that will be the show sponsor, and so they will present that year's air show. And we'll have one show sponsor every year, but for the first year, we thought it would be really neat to have two. So both Janie and Dustin have come forth and are excited and happy to do it for us this year. We have several other sponsors in place, but we could definitely use more. And I'm kind of hoping some of you can steer people in my direction. So the more sponsorships we have, the bigger the show we can build for this year. We're kind of planning on a small show this year and then making it bigger next year in each year. But, if we can get a good amount of sponsorships this year, we can maybe build it a little bit bigger than what we kind of first anticipated. Helm and Heritage Aero, Cliff Waluski out there at the airport, Solutions Bank, Walmart, Avionics Place out of Rockford, Cornerstone Credit Union, and we have the local radio group all on board already, and we have many that have not yet made their decision as to how much they want to sponsor. We have different sponsorship levels, and I think I gave you those handouts last time. May 20th is going to be our GFP after hours out at the airport, out at Heritage Aero. So with the GFP, and hopefully we'll have a lot of businesses be there that night. We'll showcase not only Cliff's business with the Heritage Aero. I mean, he's got a phenomenal business out there if you haven't seen it already, and he's a great asset to the airport and to Freeport. But we'll also be talking about the air show, and so hopefully we'll be able to get some more folks, aware of the air show, and maybe we can get some more sponsorships that night as well. Concessions already in place: cheese market, wrapped in smoked barbecue, Italian ice, and the Kiwanis kettle corn. We have several others that have expressed interest, and we're going to approach them, other ones as well. But those are already committed and in place. And some of the groups that we have already committed, the Noon Kiwanis group is involved and committed, and they're going to run the main gate out at the airport. My idea is that we want to sell tickets both at the fairgrounds and at the main gate, kind of speed up the process of getting people in. But they're going to do the main gate, and they're also going to bring their kettle corn tent, and they're going to do kettle corn at the show. The Freeport JROTC, he's committed 30 to 50 student volunteers, at least those are the ones he has already committed and interested. He thinks he may have more that will come. And I am kind of thinking of using them out at the airport to help park cars, direct cars to parking, and for cleanup out at the fairgrounds. And then if we have more, we can bring them over to the airport and do some, have us help over there at the airport. The Girl Scouts have also said they want to help and be a part, but we haven't got a count from them yet. and we don't know for sure, where we're going to put them, but they do want to be involved. And the Freeport Pilots Club, which is our local EAA chapter, they're going to be involved, and they're going to help us on the flight line. They're going to supervise the flight line and make sure that is secure. I want to say, too, that right now, most of my time I'm spending talking to businesses and trying to secure sponsorships. So a lot of the logistics stuff that I've already put in place, and I'm kind of slowly working at that on the side, but I'm really concentrating a lot of my time right now for maybe this next month or this month and some of next month just on sponsorships. And aircraft, we're going to have the 4 performers that will be part of Daisy Air Shows. We'll have 4 for sure. We have 1 showcase flying set up already. We hope to have many more. Showcase flying is where they're really not performing as a act, but they're going to showcase their airplane. So they'll do several flybys. The announcer will talk about the airplane, or some guest announcer will, and explain what the airplane is, what it can do, what it does, maybe its age, that kind of thing, history. We'll have static displays, and that's going to be kind of at the mercy of Heritage Aero and Courtesy Aircraft out of Rockford. Whatever inventory they have on hand that week, they will bring out and they'll put on display. Heritage does a lot of work on T-28, so I'm sure we'll have 1 or 2 of those there, possible T-33s, T-34s, and who knows what else may come in that week. Courtesy Aircraft, for those of you that don't know, Courtesy is Mark Clark, he's a broker, and he sells mostly warbirds, but he sells other aircraft as well, vintage, what have you. And he always has aircraft he's got there in Rockford. So whatever he has that week, he'll bring over and put on display. And we might get some special treats. I think he has a B-25 right now that he's got listed. And there's always, you never know. You never know what's going to be. I think he's got a TBM Avenger. So if they're still with him that week, then he'll be bringing those over, hopefully as well. So that's where I'm at with it. We've got a lot of the marketing, a lot of the signage, a lot of it already being worked on or completed. We just haven't made the actual banners, posters, and all that production stuff. We haven't put into place yet, but a lot of the stuff is already designed. We've kind of gone off a theme, and you saw that on our handouts. And that will be our theme this year, our look. And so the posters, the program, and the website. That's another thing. We've got the website being worked on right now as well. We just haven't selected the platform for selling tickets, the e-tickets. And the T-shirts. We'll all have that similar design on them this year. That will be our look. And so that's what I'll spend more time on after we get more sponsorships committed. That's where I'm at for a little summary update.
Chair,
Yes, Alderman Parker.
3 questions that come up. What is the dates of it again?
September 18th. It's a Saturday, 1:30, one-day show. I think we're going to open up the gates. We haven't decided on the official time, but it's probably going to be 10 or 10:30.
Okay. And all the parking's at the fairgrounds, or can they park at the airport?
No parking at the airport. All parking will be at the fairgrounds, and we'll have bus shuttles running continuously.
And do you have an entry fee yet? What the cost will be?
Yes, good question. $10 in advance on the website and $15 at the door.
Thank you.
Mr.
I should say at the
Menino,
gate.
is there a discount for children?
No.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
how do individuals contact you if they're looking to get involved?
Good question. It was in the information that I gave out at the last meeting.
I've got a phone number I could send out to all the council members.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Council, any other questions regarding this? Mr. Menino, I want to thank you for all the information, and we hope more of this gets lined up for you as far as your sponsors and your performers. It sounds like it'll be a fun day. So again, for the public listening, this is set up for September 18th, which is a Saturday, a 1:30 show. The open gates probably around 10:30. Parking has to be at the fairground. Cost is $10 per person in advance, $15 at the gate, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, one other thing, can I add?
Yes, sure.
July 18th is decision day. And then what I mean by that is with the current status of COVID at that time, we'll make our decision on July 18th, whether or not we'll be putting the show on as planned or if we'll have to postpone it to next year. So July 18th will be the day. And then on the 19th, if we're a go, signs, banners, and all that will be going up. And but I just want to make sure everybody knows that. It's looking good this year, but who knows?
Thank you very much for
You're
that.
welcome. Thank you all.
Next on the agenda, number 9, we have the quarterly presentation. Greater Freeport Partnership is being presented by Mark Williams, who is the executive director. Again, Mr. Williams, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you earlier with these masks on. It's just crazy.
Well, that's perfectly okay. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the first quarter report for the Greater Freeport Partnership. You should have received today, or at least if you had our quarterly report that we sent out. Hopefully, we may not have had a chance, but I'll try to briefly go over some of the items. Employment opportunities, remain relatively high in manufacturing and food production operations in Freeport and Stevenson County. We continue to work closely with our major employers, as well as on job fairs and hiring events that we've held in the first quarter. I know that Ingrown Farms had a significant turnout at the library when we held that, and we marketed it because Workforce Connection could not work with them. We did because of the involvement of their business in cannabis industry. The federal government could not fund them, so we worked with them to help that, and they had 150 applicants come through the library. I think 50 or more were offered positions, and they're going into another round of a job fair this coming week or next week at the library. In addition, I know Anchor Harvey had some openings, Titan Tire, as well as Snack King, other companies that I went around and met with. They continue to have struggles meeting and filling the positions. And so we did kick off our Workforce Development Committee, and that got going. We're in plans to meet every other month. This committee is had a full turnout of the committee. We did one of the things that we want to do. We intend to hold meetings every other month, and we discussed for the first meeting the current members and the barriers that existing discussion with our existing partners and some employers within different sectors, and what their problems are and their barriers are filling the positions, and any of the partners in the educational institutions that make up a partnership, as well as any agencies that provide support. We look at current workplace barriers, existing stackable credential programs that we can put in place, and the need for more effective communication between the educational sectors and the employers. We will convene these every other month and continue to make that a priority item because our employers need to have the jobs open, and we just need to get them filled with people. So that is a major item. We did kick off, we continue to move forward our development and mapping of our entrepreneurial ecosystem by purchasing the Gale Business Suite for the Freeport Library. It's not fully launched yet, but I know the staff we also had staff that produced podcasts regionally on entrepreneurism, as well as we participate in regional community conversation on how to develop quality places that kind of attract a culture of innovation and creativity. And those are the things that we're trying to look at as well from a regional perspective, as well as locally. We did launch our partnership news and featured a new design and layout along with the launch of the partnership podcast. We now called a Synapse or for Business Lifestyle podcast. We made advancements in collaboration with our downtown business owners and event groups in preparation for 2021 events and beautification programs. To the industrial site selection searches, we had, we had several. It's kind of an indication that the economy is about ready to bust open. The number of searches and the frequency and the volume of searches that came was more than I've seen in probably 2 years. So having product ready with infrastructure is critical to take care of these opportunities as long as workforce. So we had 6 inquiries into available commercial retail spaces and received 10 RFIs from Intersect Illinois, which is a statewide search firm. And we submitted greenfield properties for 4 separate RFIs, and it's greenfield that has time to get infrastructure there. But these are large sites, large acreage sites. If we can take advantage of those, we would. And finding sites within the city of Freeport is important too, so we're working with the city manager and Public Works to try to find those sites as well. I hope everybody's hearing me okay with this mask on. For beautification efforts within the city, I know Andrea's worked designing a pocket park for spaces that will be vacated by buildings that are being torn down. And for demolition, obviously we don't want to see buildings torn down, but we do need to be optimistic and looking for an opportunity to further the city's goals in making the downtown a beautiful place. And so we put those design details together. I don't think it's finalized yet and decisions made on it yet, but the funding mechanisms, and we're applying for grants to help fund that as well. You'll see we're starting to discuss to educate ourselves and others on murals and public art policy as well. And so we're looking for best practices in that. You'll see Restaurant Week come up this month in April. Bill and Nicole initiated this in 2021 for a Restaurant Week to be held April 23rd through May 1st. The event will publicize restaurants in Stevenson County at no cost to participating restaurants. It has proven, popular with restaurants, has brought some establishments into the partnership. We will develop a digital guide of the county restaurants, has secured 2 sponsorships that will allow us to print guides for distribution. We continue to have ribbon cuttings, hosted a ribbon cutting for Evolve Chiropractic and at Ben Franklin Customs in Elroy this quarter. Member newsletter, when the weather allowed us to do ribbon cuttings, and I know we have more scheduled. Let's see if I can add anything else of importance. And that will be it. We're also looking at remote worker recruitment and currently assessing and developing remote worker strategies. Either companies, it could be a retention effort as well for companies that currently have employees working remotely, because it's going to be open game for everybody in the country to find people who were willing to live anywhere and work. So we're going to be in that game as well. So, any other questions?
Council.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Alderman McClenathan.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. It was good to hear the priority on regards to the Workforce Development Committee, and obviously you expounded a bit on its long-term impact and challenges. Talk to me a little bit about the Gale Business Suite. What does that look like? What does it do? How is that going to help with the development and mapping of the entrepreneur ecosystem?
What it does is it's a whole suite of different, I think I'm going to look this way because Ashley's over here. And the library purchased it, we're reimbursing them for it, or if we haven't already. But it's a suite of, it can take you into business planning. It can take you into where, if you have an idea for a business, or if you have an idea to start a business, it can take you to different levels, and it points you to programs that can help you build business plans, do research on competitive businesses, and how just to basically prepare your business plan and do research. It's at the library for the purpose It's designed for a library. We did it, and it was in Rockford for the Rockford Public Library, has it up and running. But because it has a low barrier of entry, and it's open late in the evenings, and you can do it remotely and have access to the system once it's up and running. So we want to eliminate barriers for people who have ideas and want to open a business, and even existing businesses that want to use it as well can get in there. It doesn't replace a small business development center, but with the status of small business development centers in the state, we don't have a physical location of a small business development center here in Freeport. We are part of the Rockford one, which is part of the Rockford Chamber, which is also employed by the state of Illinois. But this actually helps provide an online suite to help provide, if I ask, it's a whole suite of different business services to help with that. But the idea is that people can get to this system without much barrier. And right now, not speaking for Ashley behind me from the library, but they have to be trained on how to use it because they will be somebody who will be asked questions. We'll be trained in it as well, and that still has to take place. And once we're all ready to go, we'll launch it and get it off and going. But it is a program that I think should be successful, and if it isn't, then we move around, we keep moving. But it is something that I'm familiar with to some degree, but that's one element of the entrepreneur ecosystem. And then the other is developing this culture of entrepreneurism. I think we have it here. We obviously have it here. Our history shows it. So that's where we're going to come out of this small business development. So.
Did that answer your question, Alderman?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to thank you too, Mr. Williams, on the small business development plans and strategies. It all will help, and like you said, I hope it pulls us out of all of this. Hey, I had a question regarding the Restaurant Week, which is April 23rd to May 1st. Is this something new for Freeport?
Well, it's new, yeah, to this level of degree, I think it's new. To my knowledge, it's new. So, yes.
And to continue on that, you mentioned a digital guide for print. This digital guide of the restaurants that will be listed as, will this include all restaurants in Freeport, or is just those that wish to sign up?
I don't want to speak on behalf of what they structured this, but I'm going to say those that signed up and are partner with us on this as
Okay.
sponsors.
Thank you for that answer.
Yeah.
Do we have any other council members who wish to ask questions, or perhaps Mayor Miller or Manager Bucas? With that, I want to thank you very much, Mr. Williams. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Item number 10 on our agenda tonight is the follow-up on the city's goals established by the Social Justice Committee. Council, you were given in your packet the memo from Manager Bucas along with a sheet of the metrics that he listed for us. Manager Bucas.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Just as a little bit of background, the Social Justice Committee last year recommended a number of metrics that they would like us to use to be measured and to see how the city is making progress for diversity and equity in our city government. This is the first quarter of statistics that we have on the measurement that we're looking at. In the area of recruitment in the police department, the number of female employees increased by 2 from the base number. That's a 10% increase in the female police department, in the number of female police department employees. We had starting the year at our base of 16 female employees. So now we are now up to, we had 19 female employees at the start, and now we're up to 21 right now. So the female police workforce accounts for about 3.4% of that department's employees. And on the minority workforce side of the police department, we saw a drop of 1. The minority workforce in the police department now accounts for about 8.6% of their employment. And the police department is currently recruiting and advertising for applicants to create a new eligibility list. And so that's a continuing process that we're having in the police department. With respect to the fire department, we really saw no change. The number of female employees in the fire department account for 4% of their workforce, and minority employees account for 2.3% of their workforce. When we look at, excuse me, our goal, as I should have said at the beginning, our goal in both departments is to increase female and minority employment by 5% by October 2021. With respect to the other departments in recruitment, we saw an increase in 3 female employees, and that's a 12% increase in that workforce. And the overall female employees in non-police and non-fire departments make up about 38% of our workforce. And on the minority non-public safety workforce, we lost 1 person. And the non-public safety minority workforce accounts for about 5.5% of our employment. When we look at the overall picture of all our employees, we have a total of 176 employees, of which 51 are female and 10 are minority members of a minority. And that equates to the female employees accounting for about 29.3% of our workforce, and minority employees making up about 5.7%. At the end of the quarter, we had advertised for a social service professional, and we're currently recruiting and interviewing that position, and I believe we're about ready to make an offer to 1 person. So that will be reported in the next quarterly report, because one of the things that the Social Justice Committee felt is that we should have a professional social worker working with the police department. So that's another goal that we're looking to obtain. And we had to set a date of accomplishing that goal by July 1st. So we're a little bit ahead of schedule on that one. Last year, we started implementing Staff on the Street. That was a program where the employees, the department heads, and some of our employees and elected officials met in different neighborhoods to try to introduce ourselves so people knew who we were and get a better grasp of some of the issues that they saw in their neighborhoods. We were hoping to, get about, our goal was to try to engage at least 20 people per event. Because of the COVID pandemic, we did not schedule any events this first quarter, and probably won't in the second quarter either. We're kind of taking this on a month-to-month basis, and we'll have to see how that works out. We also had a goal in the Community Development Department of increasing the number of inspections by 5%. Last year, our base goal this year is to reach 5,603. During the first quarter, we had 1,253 inspections, which is about 22.4% of our goal, and that was done while being 1 person short in the Community Development Department. So I thought those numbers were pretty good on where we needed to be. The committee also talked about demolishing blighted structures in the various neighborhoods, and the goal was was established at trying to demolish at least 10 buildings. And currently, as a public body, the city has not demolished any structures this first quarter, but the private sector has taken down 5 buildings. And we're in the process right now of getting ready to bid out demolition for HP Plastics, which is going to be a huge demolition project, and it's going to be funded through the Department of Natural Resources. So no city funds will be used for that, but that's something that we're looking to start and try to have completed by the end of June. ABET Books and Hairwave buildings in downtown are currently, even though you won't notice it because they're being torn down internal, and they're being demolished at the present time, and we're in the process as well of advertising the demolition of 10 buildings in the next quarter. As respect to our boards and commissions, we were hoping to increase our female minority membership. We have currently 41.6% of our board members are made up of female members, and that's an increase of 2 members from our base that we had. And on the minority side, we had an increase of 1, so our minority members make up about 18.2% of our boards. The city's latest population estimates that the female population is at 53% and the minority population is at 25%. So we have a little ways to go there, but we're making strides. When we started the program, we were at 41-18, so because we don't have a lot of memberships that come due every year, it's going to take a little while to try to increase those numbers. We are planning to hire a marketing communications director. That was another goal that the committee has set out that we do. The goal is to have that person on board by July 1st. We're in the process right now of reviewing our job description and getting ready to place an ad, numerous ads, to start filling that position as well. And then the last matrix that that was part of the goals was accountability, and as part of that accountability was that the city council would review these metrics every quarter, and that's what we're doing tonight, so we're meeting that requirement at this time.
Council, do we have questions?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. I know we've spoken before in regards to both the police department and the fire department regarding their stepped up efforts and different areas that they were reaching out to for to reach a broader or as broad of a pool as they could. And I do know the administration is also working in the community as well to try to reach out to various individuals and entities to, again, try to expand the applicant pool. What type of results are we seeing, and what kind of feedback are we getting from those efforts as far as it pertains to an increase in applicants?
We're not really seeing much of result. Feedback-wise, we're not really receiving much. To be quite honest with you, we've reached out to the various community organizations and churches, and if they're referring people to us, we're not seeing it. We've done extra advertising in a minority publication as well, trying to attract people, but we're not really seeing anything. Our best bet probably is to start looking at advertising in the Chicago metropolitan area, because the efforts we're using now, we use the Blue Line and a number of other ones, and the fire chief's gone out, and he's even gone to the National Guard and everything. And we're going out and reaching out to different groups, and we're just not seeing the
Follow-up, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you. And our current application system has metrics for indicating how individuals learned or became aware of the position, so we can kind of track that kind of from the back end?
Right. We've modified all our applications to have a spot where we're asking where did they hear about the opening, so that we could kind of see what's working, what's not working. It seems like right now, Indeed is probably our main source of applicants, but we're trying every direction we can.
Anything further?
On a different topic, but I'll see if anybody else has anything first.
Well, I just wanted to say, Manager Bucas said it looks like you've taken these metrics very seriously, that you're following through on everything that we've asked you to engage in. The Social Justice Committee, I should say, has asked you. And we're looking forward to the next quarterly report to see if the statistics have changed at all. Does anyone else wish to be heard yet?
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. The other thing that stuck out to me looking through this was the issue in regards to demolitions. And this is more of just a note, because obviously this is my last committee of the whole, so this is going to be more for the rest of you. But and it's obviously a budgeting issue, and whether it's going to be a priority or not. But I do know at one point we took down about 100 in 1 year, but we still had well over 100 on a list internally of properties that were past the point of rehabilitation, and we're gonna have to come down at some point or another. And I think if you know, going around, obviously, some of the neighborhoods, and you can see some of the properties and things of that nature and the impact that it does have. So if we're looking at areas that we could have an outsized impact, I'd just encourage my fellow council members as we're going down the road in future budgets to see if there's some way that we can prioritize the numbers on those, to pick those up, to, again, you know, supplement those areas where we can rehab when we can, but for these ones that are already too far gone, I think we'll see a significant benefit.
I
Madam
agree with that.
Chairperson?
Yes.
One thing that we've, you know, when we did those 100 homes, we really overextend ourselves a little bit, and so it took us a little while to build up our funds. We'll be probably doing more than 10 houses this year, but we're doing some bigger projects, like I mentioned, HP Plastic. That's a 400, or excuse me, I'm not sure how much the bid's going to come in at, but we spent over $400,000 just getting the property right now. And so fortunately, we have the DNR money. We're still waiting to hear back from FEMA on our pre-mitigation grant money, and there we have about 140 properties that we're looking to buy there. Some of them are vacant, but quite a few of them have homes on them, so we're looking at that. So we're going to see a big impact over the next 3 years because of that one grant alone. It's about $3 million that we'll be using to take down older homes and relocating people to drier areas. And we do have, like I said, we're starting to build up our funds so that we'll be looking at doing more demolitions in the neighborhood, especially, you know, we're going to be spending a lot of money on Adams Street next end of this year and all of next year. And so that's going to be a focus area for us too, to try to get a housing rehabilitation grant out there so we could, you know, fix the houses that we can, and the ones that we can't, try to get some demolition money through the state, either through Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity or through the Illinois Housing Development Authority to help us with those programs.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Yes.
While we're on the topic of demolition here a little bit, I want to ask the administration to keep the old Union School on your radar for possibilities of demolition. That's been a eyesore in the community for quite a few years, so if we could see what we could do about that property, that'd be great.
Thank you, Alderman Busker. Any remote aldermen have anything to add? No? Anything else? Manager Bucus, I want to thank you for the time that you've spent on this. We're glad to follow through with those goals by the Social Justice Committee. Last on the agenda, public comments, and I believe we said we had none. Is that correct? Madam Clerk?
There were none written, no.
Do we have anybody in the public who wishes to speak tonight? I don't see anyone taking that on, so we will move on to item number 12, which is adjournment.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chair, we're going to need roll call on this, too.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Busker and a second by Alderman Ross on adjournment. Madam Clerk?
Brashaw,
Aye.
Mysick,
Aye.
Berberay,
Aye.
Borneman,
Aye.
McClanathan,
Aye.
Ross,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
and Busker.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0.
Thank you all. Have a good evening.
No, you go right ahead.